discussed in our last class how our HTML brings in our content and adds all the meaning to our web pages. We're going to be looking at a very important technology called CSS, which actually controls the entire presentation of those contents to our web pages. You see how we'll get to see how we would align a lot of components in our web applications to make them look good. You might be wondering how some of those websites you've actually seen look the way they are and have the kind of feel they have, from the colors to alignment and how everything is arranged properly. So do not worry, I'm just going to be putting you through step by step, every step of the way, which is very easy. All right, so I'm just going to be going straight to the presentation. You can feel free to ask me questions at any point in the presentation. So all right. So first of all, you're welcome to the presentation once again. So this is a CSS3 introduction for beginners. My name is Sunday Shail. So we're going to be looking at three very important concepts. The first is the meaning of CSS, what CSS is. We'll be looking at what CSS is and ways that we can style our HTML documents. Also, we're going to be looking at type of selectors we're going to be using in our HTML styling. Right, so CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. It's just a way we find like a standard on how to style components in our HTML pages and our web pages. So it's just a simple way of designing and structuring the web. So it's just a language we use to create designs for web pages. So it helps us to have full management and control over our HTML components that ranges from the directions we want them to be, the positions we want them to be, how those content we have in our HTML, how we want them to look like, how we want them to be presented to our users when they visit our applications. So that's basically what CSS is. All right, so we have two ways of styling our HTML document. One of them is the internal styling, and the second is the external styling. And the internal styling is a way just it uses unique styles to style a single web page. So if you want to style a single web page, you can easily make use of the inline internal styling. Now, internal styles are defined with what? The style tag. So to style a document internally, you have to define a style tag in our head section of our HTML, which we're going to actually look at. So external styling also comes in to style our HTML document, but in a different way. We use external styling uh, to change the look of the entire website, but every single page that needs those styling, we have to make reference to it. So in external styling, we create an external CSS file, and we link to that CSS file in our HTML file. So that multiple HTML files can actually link to that same CSS file and actually get styling from that CSS file. So yeah, don't worry about it. I'm going to be putting you through step by step how to actually achieve that. So all right. So thirdly, what we're going to be looking at is selectors, types of selectors. Now to style a HTML document, you have to actually select that document or call it and actually attach a particular style to it. So there are different ways you can actually call those elements. So those elements have attributes that we call upon during what? During styling. So there are different types of selectors. So in your HTML document, you would notice you have different kinds of documents. For you to select a particular element to style, because you would be having multiple elements in your HTML document ranging from images, divs, sections, asides, and all of them. So for you to be able to style those HTML tags, you need to call them by selecting them. So types of selectors we have, one is we have the class selectors, which selects all elements of a what of a particular class within with the class attribute. So you not need to give that element an attribute of what class and give it a class name. Then you call that class name and actually style that. So note that styling with class names can go to different elements. So you can actually style multiple elements with one style. So multiple elements can have the same class, then you style them all at the same time. Secondly, we have the ID. So what we basically do is assign an ID attribute to that particular HTML element, then you call it and style it. So when you select an element by ID and style it, you need to make sure that that element has a unique ID, meaning you cannot give more than one element the same ID. So if I'm giving an image an ID of profile image, for example, I cannot give another image an ID of what? Profile image, or I cannot give a div an ID of what? Profile image. Each element with an ID must be unique. It must be a unique identifier in your document. So next is child, how to style children elements. You would notice that in your HTML document, you have multiple elements, and a lot of them have children elements, which means we have nested elements. So how you style children elements, you can use this child selector to actually match elements that are children of some other elements by using the greater than symbol. So you can actually chain up to more than one, two, three elements and more by using the greater than symbol. So signifying that this particular element is a direct child of the other element. So which we're going to be doing step by step, and I'll put you through all of this. Do not worry about it. All right. So this is the end of my presentation. So we just go right into the code and start working.